When I was younger, I knew I wanted to be a YouTuber, and so my instinct was to study filmmaking. So I went to a fancy film school where they taught me the rules of traditional media. I didn't want to do traditional media. I wanted to do YouTube, and the rules are totally different. The majority of media we now consume is web content, a still brand new form of media with whole new rules that go against traditional media. Yet we still don't pay enough attention to what those rules are. So this is me talking about some of those rules. Here's 5 more rules that traditional media doesn't teach you, but you should technically know if you want to be a YouTuber. That was a really long title. Number 1, the jump cut. The jump cut is all about pacing, and pacing is the most important tool that you can use to keep your audience engaged. Imagine how boring it would be if we never cut out those silences in between. It would suck. However, it's easy to assume that a jump cut is an easy cut. Just wait until you stop speaking, find the next point where you start speaking, roughly cut out that silence in between, and call it a day. No. Don't leave that little moment of silence in between cuts. It affects the pacing of the video, and most importantly, it negates the reason for a jump cut. What you need to do is have both the last syllable and the next cuts have the first syllable as a J cut begin at the same time. If it sounds unnatural or jarring, simply experiment by extending the B-side by 1 more frame until it sounds clean and immediate. But what's the point of an effective jump cut if the rest of your content slows it down? YouTube is full of cliche drone shots, coffee montages, slow motion for the sake of slow motion. But if these shots do not contribute towards the progression of your story, you've created an unmotivated sequence. So if you do a drone montage, but with no context as to why, the video slows down, the viewer gets bored, they click off. That means that drone montage that you think is cool isn't. A web content video's #1 rule is to have a clear and consistent motivation to what happens next. The cut that happened directly before it needs to inform the cut that comes after it. The best example I can make is the one I did in Logan Paul Vlogs. He always ensures that a sequence is motivated with context and reason.
We're on our way to Joseph's house right now, but first there's a couple things we gotta do. This is nuts. I love you, baby. You served me well.
This doesn't mean remove all of your best shots. It simply means ensure your shots have a justifiable reason to be present. It's so easy that when you're working for an edit and you stumble upon an idea that really excites you, that you then focus all of your energy and time in making that great. So that's your mistake. Let's say you have a deadline, 7 hours to finish this video, and you've just spent 5 hours on this one segment. So now you only have 2 hours to finish the rest of the video. You screwed up. That idea that excites you, do it last. First, get through all of the boring work that you'd rather not be doing. Because now that you have something to look forward to, this is going to give you agency to get through all of that boring stuff. This animation took me a considerable amount of time of what ended up being a 6-second segment, but it was actually the last thing I did. I made sure the entire video was done first before I even started this animation. It's not just cool effects that waste your time. One of the biggest banes of editing is actually finding the right music track. And so it's understandable, but a mistake if you find a track and go, oh, well, that'll do, I guess. But that is the problem. Music is the biggest influence in creating the feeling of your video. What I mean by feeling is the quality of the emotional experience created by the content. And the best way to diminish that quality is by choosing the wrong music. Everything kind of falls apart. It can feel naked, unpolished, and well, quite frankly, awkward. What you have to do is carefully curate the music for each video. What's very important to perfect, but very easy to get wrong, is the feeling that you create with your choice of music. But what is the point of good music, good montages, and good jump cuts if you don't have a good idea? Oh shit, that's the hardest part. Where do you even get a good idea? The answer is surprisingly obvious. Steal. Let's say there's a piece of content that you watch and the experience it gives you resonates. It has a profound and memorable effect on you on what it is that you enjoy. It's natural when you fall in love with a piece of content that you want to copy it. So copy it. What you experience in life, what content you specifically enjoy, what resonates with you on a creative level and influences you, will mean that you will not create an exact copy. Since your voice and your personality is unique, it will make it your own. To prove my point, Most good ideas are 2 to 3 previous ideas that are stitched together. Every piece of new media exists because it's been influenced by something they've seen before. You should be watching content, looking for stuff to steal and stitch together. For me, I'm constantly watching YouTube and traditional media, looking for stories, techniques, and effects for me to steal. This transition was inspired by The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. This scene was inspired by Scott Pilgrim. I literally just copied the sound design from Batman and you all loved it. Because the biggest thing you have to give is yourself. No matter what you do, you and your you-ness will shine through. It doesn't matter if it's been done before, because you're the one who's doing it, and you will make it unique. Do we know what content ideas you're planning of borrowing? I'll see you next time.